Flying into an orbital sunrise, the International Space Station's Quest airlock now clearly in view. Soon the outer thermal hatch will pop open, and the inner hatch for the crew lock section of Quest will be opened. We're just about down to vacuum, and you'll start to hear the calls for final communications and systems checks for the two spacewalkers for today, Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency and Shane Kimbrough from NASA. As mentioned earlier in the broadcast, these two astronauts conducted two spacewalks together during Expedition 50 in January and March of 2017. The first was work that was ongoing as part of the sequence of events that swapped out batteries for the power system on the International Space Station. The second of their two spacewalks together 4 years ago saw them lubricate and service the latching end effector on the Canadarm2 robotic arm and prepare the zenith or space-facing port on the Harmony module for the installation later on of the second of the two international docking adapters.
And Thomas, in the airlock, I'm showing the telemetry showing 5 psi. Correction. 0.5. Less than 0.5 psi.
Copy, Mark.
Once you've opened the hatch, I'll go ahead and put the emergency MPEV to closed. And then Jenny, it'll be completely over to you.
Copy, and we concur. We see that pressure less than 0.5 psi.
And that's what I have on the manual gauge as well, Jenny. So if you concur, I'm going to go ahead and rotate that handle and pause for a second.
Affirm.
All right, unlock. Rotating clockwise to unlatch. Hard stop. I'm going to pause. And then pull the handle up. Nicely done.
And the hatch to the crew lock section of Quest now open at 7:09. We're standing by now for final systems checks and the suits being put on internal battery power to mark the official start of today's spacewalk.
I'm going to move it. Yeah, can you move a little bit to the, there you go, forward and if I get to, no, you just move you, because I think I'm contacting you. Okay. If you go as much forward as you can, Shay. One full all forward. There you go. Okay, hatch is open. Nice. Secured for the daylight.
Nicely done, Thomas. The emergency MPV is now closed. All right, Jenny. Good luck today, and look forward to talking to you at the end.
All right, ground copies. Thank you, Mark. Well done. I am ready to pick up with you guys. On your DCMs, switch power to BAT, stagger your switch throws, and expect a warning tone. Check display switch functional.
Copy. Power to BAT. What's in BAT? Power to BAT, EV2. Restart.
Copy, power to BATs. Looking for a good display on Shane as well.
Good display. Good reset.
On the UIA, switch power for EV1 and EV2 to off, OFF, and check for LEDs off, OFF.
Okay, powers EV1 and 2 are off, LEDs are off. Scissors 2 off, expected.
Disconnect SCUs from your DCMs and install your DCM cover.
Start. View disconnected, cover in place, and for EV2.
Copy both. Stow your SCUs in their pouches.
Not yet. You want us to use in the pouch.
Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency and NASA's Shane Kimbrough have placed their suits on internal battery power at 7:11 a.m. Central Time, 8:11 a.m. Eastern Time, marking the official start of today's spacewalk, the 239th in support of space station assembly maintenance and upgrades. Again, start time for today's spacewalk officially measured at 7:11 a.m. Central, 8:11 a.m. Eastern Time.
Hot EV1, max hot EV2.
Switch water on, ON.
Water on EV1. Water on EV2.
Check DCM blank, bite off.
DCM blank and bite off EV1. DCM blank, bite off EV2.
Copy all. Temperature control valve set as desired.
The voice you're hearing here in Mission Control talking to the two spacewalkers is that of Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jenny Sidey. She is the ground IV, or the spacewalk choreographer, who will be working step by step through all of the procedures for today's spacewalk. The hatch is open to the Quest Airlock's crew lock section. You'll be seeing Thomas Pesquet wearing the suit bearing the red stripes as extravehicular crew member number 1. He'll be emerging just a few moments from now once he and Kimbrough have completed an inventory of all the tools they'll be taking outside with them.
All right, copy. And with that, we are ready, Thomas, for you to open the hatch thermal cover.
Copy, opening the hatch thermal cover. CAT. Goes to the gearing.
And Thomas, you'll be stowing the hook on the stiffener tether point and cinching the snap strap until snug.
Copy. The hook is on the tether point, and the strap is cinched. I see 6 black lines.
Copy. We are expecting.
And the thermal cover is open.
Copy.
The outer thermal cover on the Quest airlock opens just as the International Space Station flies 258 statute miles over Miami.
I go to egress. Ready?
Affirm, Tama. You can egress the airlock with crew lock bag number 1. We'll have you verify the forward hatch pit pin is engaged.
Copy. I'm egressing the airlock. Forward hatch pit pin engaged. I put down a local feather. And my crew lock bag.
Copy. You can get that crew lock bag on your VRT, and when you're ready, give Shane a go for egress.
Copy. Come back in. A little bit. Good. When you're right on that little bag. Yeah. Okay, I got BRT right on it. BRT on the crew lock bag. Bring back out. And then I have the right on it, I have my BRT. You can release the airlock.
And our first view of Thomas Pesquet, extravehicular crew member number 1 today, wearing the suit with the red stripes, representing the European Space Agency today as he begins the 3rd spacewalk of his career.
Yeah, I got it. Got it. Nice. I have a ret on the IDA bag, cable bag, released from airlock tether. Copy.
Copy, Shane.
You know when you're ready, Tomas? I'm ready. You can come out. Okay. Good car. Yeah. Good. Straight, you'll be good. Yeah, nice. On the lights. Go ahead and close the thermal cover when you... Yeah, I gotta come back. You gotta come back. That's right. The rats are on my lights. Yeah.
Copy. Now that you're both egressed, you can turn on your HECAs, and we're ready to copy
Rotate your right shoulder.
buddy checks when you are.
Stand by, Jenny. Rotate to your right shoulder, Shane. What's that? To your right shoulder. Rotate. There you go. Got it. Thanks. Okay, Jenny, can you say that again?
Okay, I copy. You can turn on your HECAs when you're ready, and then I'll copy buddy checks when you're ready.
Hey. Guys, on EV1. EV2. I'm going to get this thing untangled here tomorrow. What? Get the red untangled through on my checklist. Let's see. You have to go underneath. You have to bring the bag to me. It's around my safety tether too. Yeah. Okay. And release from your left arm.
Once Kimbrough is outside to join Pesquet, we should be seeing our first view from helmet cameras. Each crew member has two types of helmet cameras, the conventional ones that you are accustomed to seeing, with Pesquet's number on his helmet camera of 20 in the lower right-hand corner once they're activated. Kimbrough's helmet camera number will be 22. They also will be turning on high-definition cameras that are mounted on their spacesuits for even better views of some of the work that they'll be doing once they reach the P6 truss on the far left section of the backbone of the International Space Station. Shane Kimbrough now on the right in the unmarked suit. Extravehicular crew member number 2 has joined Pesquet outside. They will make sure that they have all of their tools and tethers configured properly before they begin to make their way out to the P6 truss.
Okay. I think now we're good. Sweet. Yeah, nice work. Okay. So, you ready for body checks? Ready? On you, I see 2 green LEDs. Then going down, I see 3 tabs up and a little bit to your left shoulder. Yeah, 3 tabs up for a BRT. 2 handles down, and I see the waist tether is going from your right steering extender locked black on black to the airlock waist tether locked black on black, both the big hook and the small hook. Looks like a good config. Okay. And you got the IDA bag on your mini workstation, right? Yeah, that's what it is. All right, I see 2 green lights on you. Lights are on, visor down. Mini workstation tabs, 1 and 2 are up. The RT tab is up. Safer handles are down. I see your safety tethers just out your left side there. It all looks clear. Your lock bag looks good behind you. Like you're in a good config. Okay, sounds good. With that, Jenny, if you agree, I'll make my way to P1.
Copy. Good buddy checks. I'll just take a baseline HAP check from you, and then we can get to translating to Ma.
Correct. And the HAP is dry for V1. Dry HAP, BD2.
Copy. Dry HAPs. With that, Thomas, you're right. You can translate to P1. We're looking for Bay 12. I'll have a mile marker for you when you're ready. And Shane, you'll be attaching the cable bag bundle to the APFR and airlock with 12.
Copy.
Shane Kimbrough reporting good configuration of all the tools and tethers, the HAP reference made by them and Spacewalk communicator Jenny Seide here in Mission Control is the acronym for Helmet Absorption Pad. That is the device in the Spacewalkers' helmets to do exactly what it's implied, and that is absorb any perspiration or other condensation that may build up inside their helmets during the course of the spacewalk. The 2 spacewalkers placed their suits on internal battery power at 7:11 a.m. Central Time, 8:11 a.m. Eastern Time to mark the official start of this spacewalk. The 239th for station assembly maintenance and upgrades, the 7th for Shane Kimbrough, and the 3rd for Thomas Pesquet.
All right, I'm on phase 1. The fixed tether is clear. My way port.
Copy, Thomas. You're looking for mile marker 9180.
9180, copy, Jenny. Thanks.
Good words. Just under the FHRC. Shane, once you've bundled that cable bag to the APFR, you can stow the APFR in your BRT.
Yeah. All right, it's bundled on there.
Our first helmet camera view from Thomas Pesquet as he begins to make his way down the port truss of the International Space Station, incrementally using handrails to make his way towards the ultimate destination, which is the P6 truss, where he and Kimbrough will begin to work to remove the IROSA, the ISS rollout solar array, from flight support equipment that's mounted on the truss of the station to begin the intricate process of unbolting a variety of mechanisms that will lead to the deployment of that array later in today's spacewalk.
Okay, my anchor hook on 652, closed and locked, black on black.
Copy. Good config for your anchor hooks. Looking for a check on your reels.
Copy, Jenny, and my green reel is unlocked. My red reel is unlocked.
Copy. Green and red reels unlocked. You can tether to EV2's anchor hook.
Copy. Okay, Jenny, I'm tethered to EV2's anchor hook. My left waist tether.
Copy, Thomas. You'll be attaching EV2's anchor hook to 3651, which is nadir of the handrail you placed your anchor hook on.
Copy, 3651, EV2 anchor hook.
Good words.
EV2 anchor hook is on 3651. The gate is closed, light unlocked, black on black.
Copy. That is a good load path. With that, I see Shane has picked up the APFR at the airlock. So when you're ready, Thomas, you can give Shane the go to release his tether from the airlock waist tether.
Shane, you're tethered to 3651. A good anchor hook. You have the go. You pick up your waist tether and begin the translation. Okay, copy that. Thanks, Thomas. Jenny, I'm resuming my translation to the southern feeder code.
Say your last. Could you repeat your last?
Jenny, did you copy my last? I'm resuming my translation to the southern feeder code.
Okay, copy, Thomas. You'll be translating to the FSE Stanton Delta. I have a warning and cautions for you when you're ready.
And Jenny, I'm at the NT. I am ready for the warning and caution.
Warning, grapple shaft and curvet coupling teeth are no touch zone. Caution, no sudden movements or quick stops on the FSE. We want you to be translating slowly. Wait until FSE motion dampens out before imparting any loads. When Shane is on the FSE as well, do not simultaneously impart loads and do not contact IROSA blankets.
Copy on Jenny, thanks. And I'm at the starboard sea card.
Copy, Tomas.
I'll make my way up. Any close on thermal cover? Doesn't seem to want to stay closed.
Copy, Shane. You're closing the thermal cover.
It's not staying closed though, Jenny.
Copy. We're looking into that, Shane. In the meantime, can I get check on your reels? We want them unlocked. And Thomas, we see you on the FSE. You're looking to stow your crew lock bag on the tower handrail.
I'll be stowing your crew lock bag on the tower handrail on the FSE.
Shane Kimbrough completing the configuration of the outer thermal hatch cover at the Quest airlock, while his spacewalking crewmate, Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency, makes his way towards the flight support equipment, upon which the first pair of ISS rollout solar arrays are mounted. The International Space Station flying just beyond Paris.
That could be in the way. Can you get your eyes on anything that might be obstructing it?
Yeah, the waste tether, thanks.
Copy.
Okay, thermal cover is closed. Thank you.
Copy, Shane. You'll be translating to the FSE and stowing your PGT on the tower handrail.
Doesn't want to stay closed again.
Copy. We're seeing that, Shane. We're talking it.
You want to stay here? Yeah, nothing blocking it.
Yeah. Copy.
When Pesquet arrives at the site upon which the solar arrays are located on the flight support equipment that carried them to orbit in the trunk of the Crew Dragon that SpaceX launched to the station back on June 3rd, he will use a pistol grip tool, a high-tech screwdriver basically, to release bolts that are called outer hinge restraint bolts, holding the array in question that will be the subject of today's installation for the 2B channel power augmentation for the International Space Station. Kimbrough, meanwhile, will translate outboard to the P6 truss to await Pesquet carrying the solar array that will be installed on the P6 truss over to him, after Pesquet affixes an articulating portable foot restraint to the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm.
And Shane, from what we see, it's holding well now. Do you think if you were to translate outboard, it would stay where it is? Looks pretty good to us.
Yeah, it looks good to me. I can't tell where it's, attached or not, but it looks solid.
Copy. All right, Shane, you can start your translation out to the FSE.
Thanks.
Stand by, Shane. It looks like the thermal cover just opened.
Okay. Standing by. Good, Jenny. My crew lock back is stowed. So I'll be ready for your PG steps.
Copy, Thomas. You can ready your PGT. You'll be working on the outer hinge restraint bolt R5.
Shane Kimbrough continuing work to try to close and secure the outer thermal hatch cover over the crew lock section of the Quest airlock before he begins his journey out to the far left section of the truss of the International Space Station. Thomas Pesquet making his way to the location where basically the carrier holding the first pair of Virosa ISS rollout solar arrays is located.
Jenny, it's closed again, and it seems to be holding for now.
Copy, Shane. We're having a discussion down here about whether we want you to put a tether on it. That's the holdup. So I'll have word for you on that soon.
Okay. Jenny, I have my PGT and I'm ready for settings.
Bravo 2, counter 2.
Bravo 2, counter 2.
Good words. And Shane, we're going to have you put an adjustable equipment tether on the thermal cover to the circular handrail just to keep it closed.
And work. Zania, Bravo 2, counter 2.
Copy. Those are good settings. You'll be releasing R5, 18 to 20 turns. The bolt will spring out when fully released, and we'll be checking for a release indicator ring.
You're releasing R5, sorry, 16 to 20 turns.
A-firm.
I get low torque on the PGT, Jenny.
Say again, Thomas?
I get low torque on the PGT. I'm at 10 turns.
Copy.
I got 17 turns. See the ball's stopped out. I'll give it a couple more turns if you'll allow me.
Copy, Tomas, checking.
All five is released.
Copy, R5 released. And Shane, we recommend not wrapping the adjustable too tightly around the thermal cover. We just want a simple hook on it to keep it pretty much closed, but we don't want anything that's going to be too difficult to undo if you have to get in there quickly.
Okay, copy.
Shane, we recommend hooking to the loop, which is by your right hand on the circular handrail. That looks like a good point if you like.
Copy.
And Tomas, with R5 released, your next step is going to be to stow your PGT, the red one.
Any extra words for me? I think I'm doing a socket swap, correct?
Affirm, that was a handover, guys, so I'm back with you now. Your next step, Tomas, is to stow your PGT on the tower handrail, and then we have you putting the socket on Shane's PGT, but we're talking next steps since we're having Shane troubleshoot that issue with the thermal cover.
Okay. Okay, Jenny, that's adjustables on there, complete.
Copy, Shane. We're still getting your helmet cam back with us after the handover, so we'll get eyes on that adjustable shortly.
Okay. You need me to face it, Jenny, or you guys are looking at other stuff?
They're talking at Shane. Word shortly.
My PGT now is a red going to NREV 013 on the tower.
Copy, Tomas. We'll have next steps for you shortly. And Shane, we're taking our time here because we want to make sure that we're really in a good config. So we're going to have you tether it such that the tether point that you're using is far from the hinge on the thermal cover. So at the actual opening, so toward your left.
All right. I'll move it over there.
Copy. Thanks, Shane. That'll be using that hook right by your left hand. And that's not the correct hook, Shane. We're looking for the hook, which is by your right hand, to move to the hook on the circular handrail near your left hand.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Wanted me to move the whole thing. I'm sorry.
No problem. We're on the right track.
With Thomas Pesquet having arrived at the work site where the ISS roll-up solar arrays are located, in this view from his helmet camera, high-definition view, Shane Kimbrough now working to tether down in place the outer thermal hatch cover on the Quest airlock that has been a bit bulky this morning. 35 minutes into the spacewalk, Pesquet will begin to set up shop to release an outer hinge restraint bolt that will free up the solar array that will be extracted, that he will haul over to the P6 truss and ultimately hand off to Shane Kimbrough in a choreography that will ultimately result in that array being installed on a modification kit, a bracket basically, at the mast canister base of the P6 truss of the arrays, and then ultimately unfolded once a series of other bolts are released to enable the tension-laden solar array to unfurl.
All right, big picture for you two. We're having Shane translate out to the FSC, and he's going to drop his PGT there. Thomas, you'll be putting a socket on that PGT to continue with the anti-rotation device removal, the ARDs, so you can ready the 7/16 12-inch socket.
All right, 7/16 12-inch socket on Shane.
Thomas, we're going to have you stand by.
Standing by, Jenny. Hey, Thomas, I'm on Spacewalk, coming your way. I see you from distance. Been good.
And ground copy, Shane.
And Jenny, you're breaking up.
Copy, Thomas.
Oh, now you're coming in clear.
All right, keep me updated on it.
I will.
And tomorrow, we're just keeping an eye on your MEDOX, wanting it to come down a little bit, which is why we had you stand by for a little while. We're pushing with the nominal timeline now. So we're seeing your MEDOX return to a good level now.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for keeping me honest, Jenny.
No problem. Shane's around three minutes or so away.
Yeah, I see him coming in between the two IROSs. Nice. Beautiful sight.
There's a good view of Thomas Pesquet at the flight support equipment carrier, if you will, in which the first pair of ISS rollout solar arrays are housed. He will begin work very soon to begin loosening bolts and anti-rotation devices, as they are called, basically launch constraints that held the arrays in place when they were launched back on June 3rd in the trunk of the Crew Dragon cargo vehicle that SpaceX launched on a Falcon 9 rocket from the Kennedy Space Center to bring to orbit. Those arrays arriving at the space station on June 5th and then robotically removed from the trunk of Cargo Dragon and mounted at that payload attachment fixture for the time being, awaiting the start of today's spacewalk. In the foreground is the trusty Canadarm2 robotic arm that astronaut Megan MacArthur will be operating a short time from now to move Thomas Pesquet to the P6 worksite as he carries the arrays manually, the first solar array, to hand off to Shane Kimbrough before it is mounted on a bracket at the base, at the mast canister base of the P6 solar array structure.
All right, I got your tether in front of me here. I'm just at the starboard seat of carts. Copy?
Ground copies.
Your feet there, Tomas. My feet. Nice. All right, fourth seat of cart coming to you. What do you want me to do tomorrow? Come up there? And yeah, if you can. I'll try to come your way and meet you halfway. I have to bring this bucket caddy.
So Shane,
it's attached to the bag.
Shane, you just need to get your PGT to Thomas. We have the published steps to stow it on the tower handrail, but if you can pass it to Thomas more easily, that's fine with us.
Yeah. Okay, that's what we'll try and do. Just stay there, Thomas. I'm on the pallet now, too. Okay. I'll just come to you. Okay. Good with that? Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay. Be gentle. Nice and smooth. All right, let me put down a local tether. All right, I've got a local tether down. Nice. All right, on a PGT. As a PGT, there you have it. Gonna retrieve yours. Nice, got it. Thank you. Thanks for the visit. Come back anytime. Okay. All right, let me move slowly off of here, and I'll let you know when I'm clear. Yeah, I'll wait for you to be gone before I move. All right, I'm just going to back out the same way I can. So, clear? No? Okay. Reorient here.
"45 minutes into the spacewalk, Shane Kimbrough and Thomas Pesquet are at the flight support equipment structure, holding the first pair of ISS rollout solar arrays that were launched a couple of weeks ago aboard the SpaceX Cargo Dragon vehicle to the International Space Station. Each one of these arrays weighs 750 pounds of mass, of course weightless, in orbit. Each new solar array will produce more than 20 kilowatts of electricity, eventually upping the power capability of the station by some 120 kilowatts. This is the first of 3 pairs of these arrays that will be installed at various truss structures of the station. Today and on Sunday, in the second of this first set of spacewalks, The 2B and 4B power channels of the P6 truss will be augmented by these arrays. They do not replace the older legacy solar arrays. They simply augment the power output of the existing arrays. The next two sets of arrays will be installed on the P4 and S4 trusses, and then ultimately the final pair on the S6 and S4 truss structures of the International Space Station. 6 of the 8 power channels on the station to be augmented. Those are the channels that have indicated the greatest set of degradation over the course of some 2 decades of use at the International Outpost, and also accommodate the highest usage loads for various payloads and scientific experiments and new modules to arrive at the International Space Station.
So those are your warnings. Your cautions are avoid contact with the deployed and stowed radiators, and the battery adapter plate cables on the IEA are a snag hazard.
Okay, copy that. Thank you.
Shane, you're translating outboard to P6. I'll check your gauntlets are down, and I have a green hook location when you're ready.
Okay, gauntlets are down and ready for the green hook location.
P6, handrail 5312.
P312, copy P6. And Jenny, I have the 7/16 12-inch on the green PG2.
Copy, and I'll take a pull test.
And I have a good tool test on that socket.
Excellent. Next steps for you, Thomas, are to start releasing the anti-rotation devices. So I'll have you translate to the Charlie 1 bolt, which is zenith and outboard.
Translating to the Charlie 1 bolt, zenith, and outboard in white.
Affirm, that'll be stanchion Charlie.
Copy stanchion Charlie.
Thomas Pesquet will be attaching an articulating portable foot restraint at the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm that he will ultimately plant his feet in, to be driven by astronaut Megan MacArthur, who will operate the arm from a robotic workstation inside the station. He will carry the first ISS rollout solar array over to the P6 truss, where Shane Kimbrough will set up another articulating portable foot restraint, so he has stability in receiving a handoff of that array from Pesquet at the appropriate time.
To attach an adjustable equipment tether to the ARD tether point.
And the green hook is on 5312.
Copy, Shane. You can translate outboard to P6 with 18.
Jenny, I have an AT on the ARD tether point.
Excellent. Thomas, your PGT settings when you're ready for them. Bravo 3, counter 2.
Bravo 3, counter 2. Copy.
Pesquet using a pistol grip tool. He will use it for about 18 to 20 turns until a outer hinge restraint bolt is released. That essentially is the first step in freeing the first ISS rollout solar array from its flight support equipment that it was launched on.
Obviously, you guys can see that it's nighttime. Just a reminder to adjust your visors if you need to.
Bravo 3, counter 2, Jenny.
Good words. You'll be releasing the stop block bolt, 10 turns only.
Copy. The stop block bolts called AR1, 10 turns only.
Affirm.
4, 5. 10 turns.
Copy, 10 turns. You can release the ARD.
Jenny, I got 12 o'clock. Sorry, black on. Okay, release the ARD. Sorry, Jenny, 12 o'clock on the APFR and with 18. Black on black, good pull test, good twist test. I'm going to work on the settings now. That's right.
Copy, that's a good install. Clocking of 12. We're looking for Fox, Fox, Fox 4.
That's Shane Kimbrough installing his articulating portable foot restraint at the P6 truss work site. That will be the place where he receives the array from Thomas Pesquet once that array is freed from its flight support structure.
And Thomas, when you have a minute, we'll get you to power cycle your HECA as well.
Bye. Jenny, this pitch knob is really stiff. Any ideas?
Checking.
Okay, I got the ARD. We'll bring it back to my main workstation.
Copy, Thomas. The mini workstation end effector might be useful here.
Okay, I got the ARD on my main workstation. You wanted a power cycle of the HECA?
Affirm.
HECA off. Green LED. I got the pitch knob.
Okay, copy, Shane.
And maybe to retalk the ARD bolt and you should have settings.
Your settings are Bravo 1, clockwise 2.
Bravo 1, clockwise 2.
Good read back, and we're looking for turning this bolt to torque, like you say, expecting around 10 turns.
Copy, 10 turns.
Shane, once you have those APFR settings in, we're looking for a check that the pitch knob has popped out, and you can retrieve the cable bag bundle.
Okay. Working on the cable bag, and then I'll finish up the APFR settings if that's all right.
Copy, no problem.
Then you have green light, 11.9 on the torque. I only have 5.5 revs. But I think maybe you see my head because the stop block has rotated a little bit. And now it's pushing against the bolt of that, the base of that extension that holds it. So there's kind of a 6 millimeter difference from where it was before when it was flush against the beam. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow what you're saying, Thomas. We're checking on that, but for now I copy the torque of 11.9, a green light, and like you said, 5.5 turns to torque.
All right.
And Thomas, we talked that turn count down here. We're comfortable with you moving on in the procedure for now, so you can stow your PGT and translate to Charlie 2, which is Zenith and inboard stanchion Bravo.
Storing the PG. How you doing, Shane? I'm good. I'm finishing up the APFR. Got the crew or the cable bag. I'm on PRT now, and final settings here. Awesome.
As we approach the 1 hour mark into today's spacewalk, Thomas Pesquet in this view from his helmet camera, continuing work with a pistol grip tool to free up a series of bolts that essentially were launch restraints for the first of the IROSA or ISS roll-up solar arrays as they were housed in the trunk of the Cargo Dragon vehicle that SpaceX launched to the station 2 weeks ago.
Knob is top.
Copy. That is a good config, Shane. You can translate outboard to handrail 5307, where you'll be stowing the cable bag.
5307, copy.
Shane and Thomas, we're around 30 seconds from handover. I'll be back with you after that.
Happy journey, thanks. Happy?
We're back with you after handover.
Hi, Jenny. I have my the free hook from my AT on my main workstation is now on the ARD.
Copy, Shane. Your end effector is still on the ARD?
Oh, no, Jenny, this is Thomas. The free hook of my AT that was on my main workstation is now on the ARD.
Copy.
ARD 2 Charlie 2.
The ARD that you're hearing referred to is the acronym for an anti-rotation device. This is a feature on the flight support equipment holding the IROSA or ISS rollout solar arrays in place. That is essentially a launch restraint that needs to be removed prior to Pesquet using his pistol grip tool to break torque on the bolts that are holding the first of these two arrays in place.
Copy. We just wanted to triple check there. We understand, Thomas, that you're ready to the ARD on Charlie 2 and you're ready for your PGT settings.
Is correct.
Thomas, your settings are Bravo 3, counter 2.
Bravo 3, counter 2.
Good read back. And Shane, you'll be stowing the cable bag on handrails in that corner of the IEA around handrail 5307. Make sure that you position the hinge ISS inboard.
Copy. Working on that. So I got two tethers down, working on the third now.
Copy.
Jenny, I'm ready for 10 turns on the ARD bolts.
A-firm, 10 turns only. That'll release the ARD.
You try SSC 13, that's in node 2. Thanks.
Again, Pesquet right now using a pistol grip tool to release what is called an anti-rotation device. This is the mechanism that must be removed prior to breaking torque on the bolts holding the IROSA array in place on its flight support structure on the truss of the International Space Station. Meanwhile, Shane Kimbrough is out at the P6 truss, stowing a bag of power cables on a handrail that will be used later in the spacewalk by Kimbrough and Pesquet to electrically connect the new array to the power system of the International Space Station.
I'm getting my crew lock bag out, and I'll head to the work site.
Copy. And Shane, we're also looking for a glove inspection, hap check, and gauntlets check from you.
Okay, white glove, no change, looks good. Left glove, no change, looks good. Dry hap and gauntlets are down.
Copy. Those are good checks, Shane. When you have the crew lock bag, you can translate to the left mod kit. I have some cautions for you when you're ready.
Okay, go with the cautions.
Standby 1, Shane. I see your ARD is released as reported. Thomas, your PGT settings to drive the stop block bolt to torque are Bravo 1, clockwise 2.
So ARD is released. There's a lot of friction on those ARDs. That's the same for both. This is a spec.
Copy, a lot of friction.
And can you give me those settings again, Jenny? please.
Bravo 1, clockwise 2.
Bravo 1, clockwise 2. Copy.
Cautions for you, Shane. No sudden movements on the mass canister or mod kit. We'll have you translate slowly and avoid cyclic loading.
Copy all.
You'll be stowing the crew lock bag on the left lower strut handrail closest to the mounting bracket, the lower handrail stanchion.
Yeah. Then you have a good torque, 12 turns, and torque, 9.6 turns, and 12.0 torque and good green light.
Copy, green light, 12 on the torque and 12 turns. Thomas, you can stow your PGT, and then we'll put you back to the crew lock bag to stow those ARDs, retrieve the scoop, and do a socket swap.
Bring the PGT in back to a crew lock bag.
Good words, Thomas. How's that bag, Shane? What's that? How's that bag? Oh, it's good. We got the crew lock bag out now, working on that. All right. Ground copies.
Okay, Jenny, I'm back at the crew lock bag, and I'm getting ready to stow the two scoops on the three red side of the crew lock bag. Or the two ARDs.
Copy, those are good words, Thomas. you'll also be retrieving the scoop with the long-duration tie-down tether and stowing that on your mini workstation.
Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston, 1 hour, 12 minutes into today's spacewalk by Thomas Pesquet and Shane Kimbrough. The two spacewalkers are working in the very, very early stages of their respective tasks that will result in the removal of the first IROSA roll-up solar array from its flight support structure. You can see in this image that large support structure that was housed in the trunk of the SpaceX Cargo Dragon vehicle that carried it to orbit back on June 3rd when it was launched from the Kennedy Space Center, arriving at the International Space Station 2 days later.
Make sure it stays redded to the crew lock bag, and you'll install it with the handle pointing inboard.
Gotcha. Copy.
Pesquet next will use a pistol grip tool to break torque on 2 bolts on that flight support equipment structure holding the IROSA array in place. Shane Kimbrough is still working in the final steps of setting up shop at the P6 truss with an articulating portable foot restraint that he will be awaiting the arrival of Pesquet in. Pesquet will set up a foot restraint of his own at the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm and then place his feet in that foot restraint, pull the array out of the flight support equipment structure and haul it over to where Kimbrough is for a handoff. Kimbrough will then rotate that array in the proper orientation to await Pesquet's arrival so that the two crew members can work with each other for the ultimate installation of that array on a modification kit, essentially a bracket that was installed at the base of the mast canister of the P6 truss array structure on a previous spacewalk.
Okay, I see the microsquare here.
Copy, Thomas. Yeah, we see that in your WVS. Make sure that you have the scoop with the long-duration tie-down tether, which you do, and that goes in on your mini workstation.
That was shared, Jenny, but I'm working on this.
Copy.
Okay.
So then, Shane, I copied
Right,
it.
Shane, if
You have the scoop, which is staying ready to the bag, and you're going to be installing it on the root beam microsquare.
Jenny, and I have the scoop. It's the long duration on the crew lock bag. Put that on my mini workstation.
Copy, Thomas. Following that, we'll have you do a socket swap.
Okay, scoop is on my mini workstation and socket swap to 5/8.
That's exactly right, Thomas. We're looking for the 5/8 12-inch socket on the PGT.
Copy. 5/8 12-inch socket for Shane. Okay, Jenny, the square speech install handle is inboard.
Copy, Shane. That's a good config. You can get started on routing the right wire harnesses from the cable bag. Let me know if you need additional words on reading to them or routing them.
Okay, copy that. Jenny, the 716, 12 inch is back on the socket caddy. It's a good pull test. Working on putting the 5/8, 12 inch on Shane's PG.
I copy a good pull test on the 7/16 12 inch on the socket caddy, and you're working on the 5/8 12 inch on the PGT.
That is correct. Alright, the 5/8 12 inch is on the PGT with a good pull test.
Copy, good pull test on the 5/8 12 inch on the PGT. Your next steps, Thomas, are to break torque on the IROSA FSE bolts, Charlie 2 and Charlie 1.
Copy. Jenny, I have a ret on the red cables. I'm going to release the ret from the back and then take them up to the right side.
Copy, Shane. That's a good config. And Thomas, while you're buttoning up this crew lock bag, I just wanted to let you know that occasionally your comm is coming through muffled. I understand there's not much that you can do about that at this point. Your mic booms are set, but that's why I'm repeating calls back to you, and just correct me if we ever get it wrong.
Yeah, that sounds good, Jenny, and I'll try to be clear. And Shane, do you copy me, or is it the same for you? No, I'm copying you good. Okay. Copying you good too.
Copy all.
And you're sure it's not my French accent? I'm throwing you off. You're Canadian, you can handle it. All right.
Thomas, you'll be translating to Charlie 2 to break torque.
Copy, Charlie 2 to break torque.
A-firm, that's Zenith, and inboard or Stension Bravo.
Spacewalk communicator Jenny Seide, a Canadian Space Agency astronaut, talking to Thomas Pesquet as he uses a pistol grip tool to break torque on a pair of bolts holding this first IROSA rollout solar array in place on its flight support equipment on the truss of the station. A distinct Canadian flavor to today's spacewalk, with Seide talking directly to the two spacewalkers outside. Next to her is veteran astronaut and veteran spacewalker Drew Feustel, who was educated, amongst other places, at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. The space station's robotic arm, the Canadarm2, will be used to move Thomas Pesquet, holding the IROSA solar array, over to Shane Kimbrough, where they will work in concert with one another to install it at the mast canister base of the P6 solar array truss structure. The P6 truss arrays were delivered to the International Space Station on the STS-97 mission aboard the shuttle Endeavour in December of 2000. That also featured the presence on board of Canadian Space Agency astronaut Marc Garneau, the first Canadian to fly in space.
Thomas, now that you're at Charlie 2, let me know when you're ready for PGT settings.
Okay. Jenny, I'm at Charlie 2, Shane's PGT, green PGT, 5/8 times 12-inch sheaves, 12 inches, and I'm ready for settings.
Copy. You're in a good config, Thomas. Your settings are Bravo 3, counter 2. You'll be releasing Charlie 2, less than half a turn.
Bravo 3, counter 2, less than half a turn.
A-firm.
Okay, less than half a turn on Charlie 2.
Copy. Half a turn on Charlie 2. You can stow your PGT and translate to Charlie 1.
Copy. Stowing and moving on to Charlie 1. How you doing, Shane? Good. I got the first keyhole tied down and just looking at the distance before I do 3 turns on it. Good. Nice. Let's work.
Ground copy, Shane.
The second one, I'm going to have to move out quite a bit. So, got a red on that, and undo it.
This is Mission Control Houston, approaching the 1 hour, 30-minute mark into today's spacewalk. A good view of European Space Agency astronaut Thomas Pesquet by the flight support equipment, and you are getting a great view of the 2 pairs of folded ISS rollout solar arrays, one of which will be extracted from that flight support equipment a short time from now and moved by Pesquet at the end of the station's robotic arm over to hand off to Shane Kimbrough at the P6 truss of the station, where it ultimately will be installed and mounted in place for its deployment later in today's spacewalk. The International Space Station is flying into an orbital sunrise over the Pacific Ocean, soon to cross the coast of Mexico, flying 258 statute miles above the Earth in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator, this track carrying it from southwest to northeast.
Jenny, I'm in position for Charlie 1.
Copy. You'll be braking torque on Charlie 1, less than half a turn. Let me know when you're ready for settings.
Braking torque on Charlie 1, less than half a turn. I'm ready for settings.
Bravo 3, counter 2.
Bravo 3, counter 2.
Good read back.
Work. Less than half a turn on C1. So, let me do that again. I got low torque. Torque of 9.4 for 18.4 is not great. Moved by less than half a turn, but you want me to give it a little bit more, Jenny, or not?
Checking, Tomas.
Okay. And I saw it moved then by less than half a turn.
Yeah, we're happy with that, Tomas. As long as it moved, we're just braking torque at this point.
Okay. Thank you.
So now you'll be releasing Charlie 1 27 turns only, and I have new settings for you.
Copy 27 turns on Charlie 1, and I'm ready for settings.
Bravo 3, counter 3.
Bravo 3, counter 3. Jenny, I just saw that my PGT in counter 1, so maybe it skipped when I had to set it to counter 2 before. It seems like I turned Charlie 1, but I'm counterclockwise 1, I think. Braking torque. Need to go back at counterclockwise 2?
I'm checking for you, Tomas.
Thank you.
Tomas, you can continue. Again, we just wanted to brake torque there, so as long as the bolt moved, we're happy for you to press.
Okay, perfect. So Bravo 3, counter 3, correct?
Affirm, those are good settings. You'll be releasing Charlie 1 27 turns only, so not fully released.
Copy, looking for 27 turns on Charlie 1.
Good read back.
You need the right brake cables are down. I'm going for the left ones now.
Copy, Shane. The right wire harnesses are complete. You are moving on to retrieve the left ones.
Correct. Ready at 27 turns on Charlie 1.
Copy, 27 turns on Charlie 1. You can stow your PGT, and we'll have you translate back to Charlie 2.
Copy, stowing the PGT and back to Charlie 2.
A great view of Thomas Pesquet using his equipment to brake torque on a pair of bolts holding the IROSA solar array in place on its flight support equipment. Meanwhile, Shane Kimbrough at his work site at the P6 truss of the station, the far left side of the backbone of the station, is routing a series of harnesses that will be associated with the power connectors that will hook up the electrical connections for the new solar array to the power system at the mast canister base of the solar array.
I got a ret on white cables in cab side. I'll release the ret from the back.
Copy, Shane. Shane, Thomas, I'm back with you after a handover. I copied the RET config for the wire harness for Shane.
Jenny, I am ready for settings on the PG for Charlie 2 for turns.
Bravo 3, counter 3.
Bravo 3, counterclockwise 3.
Affirm, and you'll be releasing Charlie 2, 51 to 54 turns. The bolt will spring out when fully released.
51 to 64 turns, copy. On Charlie 2.
Affirm.
As we hit the 1 hour 36-minute mark into the spacewalk, this view from Shane Kimbrough's helmet camera. He and Pesquet and the rest of the crew members on the International Space Station are crossing the coast of Mexico north of Guadalajara, orbiting 258 statute miles above the Earth. Pesquet using a pistol grip tool to break torque on a pair of bolts holding the ISS rollout solar array in place on a flight support cradle that was delivered to the station with the first pair of solar arrays on the SpaceX Cargo Dragon vehicle 2 weeks ago. Kimbrough, meanwhile, is routing a series of cables that will ultimately be used to hook up electrical connections between the new array and the electrical ports at the base of the P6 solar array truss structure.
Actual 6.9. At the end, it was very, very low torque. It was higher at the beginning.
Okay, Thomas, I copy Charlie 2 released with 57 turns. You can stow your PGT.
Copy. Stowing your PGT. Again, Jenny, is a piece of data. The first 10 turns where I could tell the torque was really high, and then it kind of moved a little bit, and then the rest was really easy.
Okay, we copy, Thomas, the change in torque you felt when you were releasing that bolt. Thomas, your next step is to install the scoop on the root beam microsquare near Charlie 2.
I'll be installing the scoop on the root beam microsquare at Charlie 2.
Affirm.
Okay.
And remember that scoop is going to be installed at a 45-degree angle toward you.
45-degree angle. Jenny, I got the first cable wire tied down. I'm going to have to move the second one. I'm just like the other one, so give me a minute here.
Copy, Shane.
And Jenny, that scoop is at the 45-degree angle. I'm going to take my rod back. And it's secured in place.
Copy. We can see that. It looks good. Thomas, you can release your rut.
Okay, and I'm going to go back to the other side, Jenny, if that's correct.
Affirm.
Both sides.
That is right, Thomas. You are headed back to the tower handrail.